Institute Chair and a Professor at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, the Indian Institute of Bombay. He has received a doctorate in theoretical physics, his master's in Sanskritam, and his bachelor's in engineering. These three subjects have combined to be a formidable combination for multidisciplinary research and work. He was honored with the title Vidvat Pravara by Sri Shankaracharya Sringeri for his completion of a rigorous 14-semester course in Advaita Vedanta in 2003. Along with mathematics and astronomy, his research interests include Indian logic and philosophy. Among his numerous contributions and recognitions, he is one of the authors of Ganita Yukti Bhasha, or rationales in mathematical astronomy, as well as Tanta Sangraha and Karana Paddhati, both of which highlight the contributions of the Kerala School of Astronomers. In 2008, he was conferred the prestigious award of Maharshi Badarayan Vyas Saman by the President of India for his scholarship and his outstanding work and research in the process of synergy between modernity and tradition. In 2010, he received the R.C. Gupta the R.C. Gupta Endowment Lecture Award. He got elected as a council member of the International Union of History and Philosophy of Science and Technology in 2013 and again in 2017. He is the member of various commissions and councils and also a fellow of the Indian National Science Academy as of January 2019. He learned Veda and Vedanta under the tutelage of his father, Mahopadhyaya Veda Bhasha Ratnam Sri Mullai Vasal Krishnamurti Shastrigar, a retired principal of Madras Sanskrit College. Please give a round of applause.
प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना न्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चाभिवृताः सत्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. संस्कृतभारत्या देशेऽस्मिन् महत्कर्म क्रियते इति विज्ञाय नितरां सन्तुष्टः अद्य विशिष्य वेदान्तविषयमधिकृत्य एतद्देशीयाः किं कुर्युः तेन एतेषां को लाभः इत्यादि विषये वक्तव्यमिति शीर्षकं निर्दिष्टमस्ति. So how many of you will be able to follow speech in Sanskrit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this talk will be primarily in English.
Thank you.
I just thought.
Everybody was getting scared here.
तत्तु श्लोकाः भवन्त्येव. See, once I remember there was interesting event which was happening in Kanchipuram when this Brahmacharya was there. Apparently, a lot of people had assembled and there were some speeches supposed they were to be given. So then, it seems in that instant, Brahmacharya said, so let the speech be in Sanskrit. So then the people who were around said, no, there are so many people who do not know. So it should be in some other local language somewhere. Then apparently he said at that moment, no, let people know that they don't know. And there is something to know which is worth knowing. So therefore let it be in Sanskrit. So something like that apparently he said, but that is not the case now. So we will so in spite of Natesha Varya's Icha, so we will just do it in English. So this topic, which was announced, so I was just looking at it. So practice of Vedanta and tips for Hindu Americans. This term Hindu Americans, so I was thinking about why did they coin this word, and if at all we have to give some meaning, what do we give? So there is a verse. One thing which is distinct from other religions is that we have no problem in accepting any form of Devata. So this is one thing which distinguishes. So practice of Vedanta will be helpful to every human being, obviously. And the Hindus, when we want to distinguish from others who are also spiritual and who practice something, I mean, whether they are spiritual or not is something which is questionable. But assuming that they are, and they are, even then, so this is one thing which distinguishes. And there is an interesting verse which even the Samskrita Bharati has, I think, Yam Shaiva, something like that. There is a verse which they say, huh? அது ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் இருக்கு, என்ன உங்களுக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? Anyway, so there is a similar verse which is present in a work by Nityananda. In fact, the purpose of practice of Vedanta, irrespective of where they are, is to discover that you are an embodiment of happiness. So this will be the overall theme with which I will be presenting this talk. There is a verse which says, Tambande gananayakam suraganaha yatpada padmadvayam sevante abhimathartha sadhanavithau vikhnauha vidhamsakrit yam sankhyav purusham pradhanam apiva shaiva shivam menire nityam brahma chidatma sarvam aparam So Nityananda was a brilliant astronomer. In fact, the other verse I think which is often said in Samskrita Bharati forums seems to have derived from this verse which was composed almost 400 years ago. Tambande gananayakam suraganaha yatpada padmadvayam sevante. So we all understand this is a for what? Vikhnauha vidhamsakrit. Then it says, Yam Sankhyav Purusham. This is our vision. Yam Sankhyav Purusham Pradhanam Apiva Shaiva Shivam Menire. Yam Sankhyaha. So you initially describe someone who is having this tusk, right? Gananayakam Suraganaha. So Vikhnauka Vidhamsakriti, immediately that picture comes into your mind. Then it is said, so it is this Vyakti who is described as Pradhana. Yam Sankhya Purusham Pradhanam Apiva Shaiva Shivam Menire. He is described as Shiva. Then he says Vedantinaha, so they describe him as Brahman. So the form is something which doesn't really matter to us. So it is this essence which is invoked in various forms. So what is this Brahman? What is this Vinayaka? What is this Ishvara? So here we have no problem. It's Hindus. So it is in this sense I wanted to say that whether you are a Shakta, whether you are a Shaura, whether you are a Ganapatya, whether you are a Kaumara, so this doesn't matter. This is what is Hindu. And what is Hindu American? So there is another verse which just came to my mind when I thought about this American Hindu. After all of us are seeking after Sukha. So Sukha is something, all other things will be meant for Sukha. So Dukkha Bhava or Sukha Prapti. Any action that you have, any action that anybody takes is primarily for Sukha Prapti or Dukkha Bhava. There is an interesting short verse which has been given by, I think in Hitopadesha. He says, Shadjiva Lokasya Sukha Nirajan. Have you heard? Jiva Lokasya Shat Sukhani iti kathit. What are the 6 things? Artha Gamu Nityam Arogita Cha Priya Cha Bharya Priyavadini Cha Vashyascha Putro Arthakari Cha Vidya Shadjiva Lokasya Sukha Nirajan. So these are 6 things. So when this verse came to my mind, so of the 6 things which are listed, the first and the 6th are there with Hindu Americans. So what is that? Artha Agamaha. Okay, so this is first thing. So Artha Agamaha, Nitya Marogita, so that we cannot say. Artha Agamu Nitya Marogita Cha Priya Cha Bharya Priyavadini Cha. So that is only by Devanugraha. So Priya may be there, Priyavadini may not be there. Both should be there. And the next one is further more difficult. Vashyascha Putraha. So Vashyaha Putraha means, so your son will be listening to you, should be listening to you. So idu vandu Sukha. So Vashyascha Putraha. Putri also included. Putraha means. Vashyascha Putraha. Arthakani cha Vidya. So the knowledge that you have, the degree that you have acquired, or the knowledge that you have gained, that should be Arthakari. So if you see the 6 things, Arthagamaha and Arthakari Vidya. So these should be there. Otherwise nobody will migrate here. It is impossible. So these 2 are there. The other things I don't know. So other things are a bit difficult. Priya Priyavadini. So what is Priya and Priyavadini? So he says Priya cha Bharya and Priyavadini Bharya. Kortha.
Bharya Priyavadini Bharya.
No, Bharya Priyavadini. See, Bharya Priyavadini Bhavatu. Okay. So let her be soft spoken, sweet spoken. So this is something. This of course will be there. But then he also says Priya Bhavatu, Priyavadini. In fact, if you look at this Priya Bharya, so I was just thinking, this has to be understood. See, who is Priya? Bhagavan, if you look at this 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, Yomad Bhakta Same Priya, Yomad Bhaktiman Yasame Priya, so Priyaha is someone who is loved by you, very affectionate and so on. Priyaha. So when will this Bharya be Priya? So for that, so that's a very interesting thing we should know. So if that doesn't happen, then you have to practice Vedanta. Okay? So that practice of Vedanta is very, very important when these things do not work out. Particularly. So these are sukhas. Everyone is seeking after sukha. But these two things are also sometimes not ensured to many people in India. But anyway, so but in other places. You know the story of Shakuntala. You have heard, right? So Kalidasa's masterpiece is, what is the text called? Abhijnana Shakuntala. Okay? It's a very interesting story, beautifully written. So there, this fourth Anka chapter is considered more important, and in that there are 4 verses. This is Kavyeshu Natakam Ramyam Tatravicha Shakuntala Tatravicha Chaturthomkaha Tatra Shloka Chatushtayam, they say. So 4 verses are very beautiful, that's what it is. Among them, one verse basically tells you, describes when Bharya will be Priya. In order to make Shakuntala Priya to everybody, so Kanva conveys a certain message. That is something which is worth knowing. And when any of you have to send your daughter to the other house, this message is better conveyed. So how much it is followed, etc., that is a different thing. But we have to at least convey. So in those days, if you see, some of these kavyas are primarily meant for that. So when a person moves from one stage to the other stage of life, there are various kinds of transformations which take place, hormones, all kinds of things happen. So it is primarily in those instances that we have to give messages. So many of these kavyas, if you see whether it is boy or girl, so they will give this message. So the shloka in it goes like that. Sushrushasva Gurun. Have you heard? Sushrushasva Gurun. Guru Priya Sakhi Vrittim. Sapatni Jane. Bhartur Viprakritapi. Roshanataya. Asma Pratipangamaha. Bhuishtham Bhavadakshina Parijane. Bhagyeshvanutsekini. Yantevam grihini padam. Yuvatayaha. Vamah kulasyadhayaha. First message is Sushrushasva Gurun. Guru means elderly people at home, wherever you go. Sushrushasva. Sushrushana. Panividai. Correct. So Panividai will happen only when there is an intent to listen to what they say. So otherwise it will not happen. Understand? Shrotum ichha sushrusha. In fact, that sushrusha in Sanskrit has been used in sushrusha pradhati, Tamil, it has come. So first sushrusha should be there. Shrotum ichha. Pandrama ilya. So first you should listen. So if you are not even willing to listen, then when will you execute? See, sushrushasva gurun. Particularly, even that step if you do, so you will be somewhat consoling to others. There may be some difference of opinion which can be sorted out later. But if you simply ignore, not even listening, okay, then you should be extremely careful to practice Vedanta. Harsha, Amarsha, Prayodvegaihi. Mukta, you should be there. So this is what is practice. Sushrushasva gurun. First important message that he conveys. Okay. Then he says, Kuru Priya Sakhi Vrittim Sapatni Jane. This is particularly important when because Shakuntala is going to the king's place, so he may have other people, Sapatni Jana. Okay? And when you interact with them, so you be so friendly to them. Priya Sakhi Vrittihi. So Priya Sakhi Vrittihi means, so this is something which has to be understood. So if you are a Priya Sakha, Priya Sakhi, so anything that happens good to the other, you will feel extremely happy. See, otherwise, this Asuya will come, Dvesha will come. So therefore, if they are happy, you feel happy. If they are unhappy, you should share that, you should have that empathy. So this is extremely important. Then only will you be able to win their heart. So then you can be Priya. You understand? So, Kuru Priya Sakhi Vrittim Sapatni Jane Bhartur Viprakrita Piroshanataya. For some reason, so if he comes and shows anger to you, he shouts at you. Okay? So don't shout back. Bhartur Viprakrita Piroshanataya Masma Pratipam Gamaha. Pratipam ma gama. I used to hear from my mother that her grandmother, he was a Kopishtha apparently, they lived in some village. So this lady, so when he shows anger, then she will never open her mouth. This is what my mother said. So she will go and then start keep chanting stotras. Understand? So if you don't open your mouth and do that, so there is only prayer, say like Dhruva. Her mother said go and so this is a way to handle. So then you can be Priya. So Bhartur Viprakritapi Roshanataya Masma Pratipam Gamaha. Then another important message, Bhuyishtham Bhava Dakshina Parijane. Parijane Dakshina Bhava means if someone, Parijana means someone who is dependent on you. Parijanaha means basically who are around you. Around means they are dependent on you. Bhuyishtham Dakshina Bhava. Dakshina Bhava means may you be compassionate to them. Dakshinyam means amiability. So you have a sense of their requirement, so be understanding. So you can always be bossy, right? But don't do that. That is what he is. Bhuyishtham bhavadakshina parijane bhagyeshu anutsekini. This is again a very important message. So sometimes it may happen that you go there, so and then so the profit of the company increases, or if he goes there, some bhagya comes. Then you just don't jump up and down saying that it is because of me. Understand? So then you will only be making other unhappy. So bhagyeshu anutsekini. Then he says, so only those people who enter the other able to make all others happy, and they will be Priya. Understand? So otherwise there will be a source of agony from Mushtar. Yantevam grihinipadam yavatayaha vamaha kulasya adhayaha. This is how Kalidas argues. Okay, the point I wanted to convey was, so this practice of Vedanta is all the more essential when any of these things do not work out for us. Okay, these are the sources of sukha, but ultimately these are sources of normal sukha. So we'll analyze this further. Okay, what exactly is the source of happiness? So the purpose of Vedanta is primarily to help you understand and face situations without getting perturbed and losing your happiness. So this is essentially the practice of Vedanta. And so as I said, so this is what it is. And in other words, this, so when I say, so discovering happiness, understanding the nature of happiness, they are synonymous. So Vedanta is meant for Atma Jnana. This is what they will generally say. Okay. So Atma Jnana is the term that is generally referred to. So Atma Jnana, Atma is something which is different from this physical body. So is what Vedanta is. Physical body has a birth and it has a death. But this Atman is described as Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va anabhuyaha ayo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So this is how Atman is described. The thesis that we are going to expound here is this Atman is an embodiment of happiness. So this is the thesis that is going to be elaborated. But the way we visualize this Atman is different from the way it has been described in all these scriptures. In fact, so there is a Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivo. Nirvana. So Nirvana Ashtakam. Nirvana Shatkam. There is Nirvana Shatkam. So Nacha Prana Samjno Navai Panchavayuhu Navasattathatun Nava Panchakoshaha Navatpani Padam Nachopasthapayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So when you really sing, you will feel as if you are a Ananda Rupa. And it is not something which has been stated by these people like our marketing strategy. So it is an experience which has been shared by people. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. This Aham is what you call as Atman. So the scriptures say that it is Chidananda Rupa. So whereas I do not really feel that he is Chidananda Rupa. So I feel that I am undergoing various sorrows and embodiment of sorrow, etc. There are various kinds of experiences which different people have at different stages. So we have to have a certain logic by which at least we appreciate that this Atman has to be an embodiment of happiness. So we will see that little later. So generally what we feel is, so happiness is something which is derived by the contact of some entity with me or separation of some entity with me. Right? So I have to get her, then only I will be happy. I have to get rid of her, then only I will be happy. Sometimes both are there. Right? So this, So this association and dissociation seem to be the source of happiness. So this is what we try to generally understand. So from our basic experiences. But Shastra tries to present it differently. So how do we appreciate that and understand it? So that is what we will see. So this is what is the application and practice of Vedanta. In fact, somebody said, so don't keep saying Jagan Mithya, Jagan Mithya. So this is a lecture not meant for that. But what is Jagan Mithya also we have to first of all understand. Anyway, the term Mithya has been misunderstood grossly. Anyway, so do we really experience that I am a Chidananda Rupa? So it is not so. And therefore, there is something which is being revealed in the Shastras. So let us try to understand it logically, that whether it is possible. If it is feasible, how is it feasible? So this is what we have to see. And in fact, time and again you will see Shastras describing this Atma Jnana's purpose, phala, as Tarati Shokam. Tarati Shokam Atmavid. So this is what is being stated. It is stated in different words in different Upanishads. Shokam Tarati means he transgresses the sorrows. Kaha Shokam Tarati? Atmavid Shokam Tarati. Who transgresses? One who knows Atma. One who understands the nature of Atma. Tarati Shokam Atmavid. If you look at this Taittiriya, so we have this mantra. So, Shmite Sarvan Kaman Saha Prema. I heard that people are learning Veda here. Very well. So, Taittiriya Upanishad, huh?
Yes.
Taittiriya is what generally we start. So, Shmite Sarvan Kaman Saha. So, this is where the beginning of Brahmanandavalli is in Taittiriya. So, what does it say? Saha Sarvan Kaman Ashnuti. Means, so that person, Saha, Kaha Brahmavid. So, in some Upanishad we will call as Atmavid, in some other Upanishad we will call as Brahmavid. So, in fact, the Upanishad starts with Brahmavida Apnoti Param. So, this is how the Upanishad starts. Nobody has learned Taittiriya?
Yeah.
All? Read it.
No, just Shikshavalli.
No, Shikshavalli, started
The
Shikshavalli.
Brahmanandavalli is not.
Correct. Brahmanandavalli begins with this. Brahmavida Apnoti Param. That is how it is called Brahmanandavalli. So, Shiksha. So first is Shikshavalli, then Brahmanandavalli. So this, so in fact, Brahmavida Apnoti Param Tadesha Bhyukta Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Paramebhyo Man Sosmyute Sarvan Kaman Saha. So this is how it goes. So Saha Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute. So this is an interesting statement. Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute. Sarvan Kaman. Kama is desire. Desire. Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute. Ashnute means experiences here. Okay. So Ashnute means actually eats. So eats means experiences. Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute. So all kamas are being experienced by him simultaneously. This is what the statement says. So how is it possible? So it is a metaphorical way of stating that you will be in a state of happiness wherein you feel as if all kamas have been fulfilled for you. So if there is a kama, the kama is fulfilled, and on the fulfillment of kama, so momentarily you become happy. Till another kama comes and knocks off from that state. Right? So this is what essentially happiness is. This has been thoroughly analyzed. That's what I am saying. So point is, practice of Vedanta. So there are certain statements which are being made, one has to understand. So the statements in a proper perspective. So saha sarvan kaman saha ashnute. So this can be understood as if all kamas are fulfilled, or there is no seeking at all. So if there is no seeking, so when there has been no seeking and one thing was fulfilled, then obviously you were in a state of happiness. So this is what this Upanishad says. So sarvan kaman saha ashnute. Who? Saha. So saha means this Upanishad starts with Brahmavit. So the other Upanishad says Atmavit shokam tarati. So the one who understands the nature of Atman, he transgresses sorrows. So this Upanishad says Brahmavit sarvan kaman saha ashnute. Means so he becomes extremely happy. So sukha prapti and dukkha nivritti. So two ways of stating. So if you look at, there is a person called Vidyaranya. So Vidyaranya, what has he done?
Established the Hindu.
Ah, correct.
Sankara Vijayam.
Panchadashi he has done. Correct. Correct. So historically, so he is associated with that. But Sarvadarshana Sangraha.
Jivamukti.
Sorry, any other thing? There is another interesting work which he has done, which is called Anubhuti Prakasha. So he is an amazing man. I mean, when we think of some of these people, whether it is Appaya Dikshita or Vidyaranya, it is simply mind-boggling. How in a lifetime can anybody do all this? So it is simply amazing. So they are all extremely gifted people. I mean, it is absolutely impossible for me to imagine. So for us to write some 2 pages, it takes some 2 days. So anyway, he has done enormous amount of work, and this is another interesting work which is normally not so well known. So I wanted to give you a glimpse of this. So because it is Samskrita Bharati, so one of the ideas is to motivate people to learn Sanskrit. So these are things which are worth looking into. They are simple things. So Upanishad cannot be so easy to understand and digest. Commentary which Shankaracharya has written obviously helps us. But what these people have done is, so try to present it in a much more accessible way. So conveying the essence of it and adding whatever has been sort of left out. So that is what Vidyaranya's contribution. So the text as such is called Anubhuti Prakasha. Anubhuti is experience. Prakasha is light, basically sharing. So that is how one has to understand. Anubhutehe Prakasha. It means so he has understood, digested for himself, and then he shares the experience. So this is how one has to understand the title of the text. So this Anubhuti Prakasha, so this Brahmanandavalli, he starts like this. Brahmavalyam Brahmavidyam Tittirif Prahayamimam Vakshye Sukhavabodhaya Kridantvatra Mumukshavaha. It's an interesting phrase. Kridantuna na? So may they play here. So who? Mumukshavaha. So play is something which is supposed to fetch you happiness. So he is using in a metaphorical way. So this is something which is being centered. Brahmavalyam, Brahmavidyam, Tirihi Praha. So whatever was stated in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Vakshye. So I am going to state it, paraphrase. For what? Sukhavabodhaya. Sukhena avabodhaha yathasya tatha. So that was the purpose. So that it can be easily digested. Sukhavabodhaya Kridantvatra mumukshavaha. May the mumukshus play here. Kridantu. Mumukshuna yaru? Moktum ichuhu mumukshu. Moktum ichu. Moktum ichuhu means those who want to get free. Freed in artham. Okay?
Freedom.
Liberty. Liberty. Correct. So this is the declaration. 1766 I wrote it. So America. Liberty I think I have slide. I think so since I'm see, look at this. See, life, liberty and pursuit of happiness are unalienable rights given to human beings. So this is the declaration, United States Declaration. Okay. Kridantvatra, and the life was only for people who are here. See, that's our contradiction. Anyway, so Kridantvatra mumukshavaha. See, so mumukshavaha atra kridan. In fact, those who want to be free, are mumukshu. In fact, the experience of a mumukshu is beautifully conveyed by Shankaracharya in one of his works called Shatashloki. Shatashloki. So Shatashlokena Panditaha. So there he says, who is to be declared as a mumukshu, real mumukshu? Okay? Or how can one practice mumukshutvam even as he is engaging? See, mumukshu does not mean so he is elsewhere. Obviously, the term will be an oxymoron. If you say mumukshu, means he is still living. So, as you are living, how can be one mumukshu? So, this is something which is nicely stated by him. After all, it is the attitude which really matters. So, it transforms hell into heaven or heaven into hell. So, here he says, Atmam bodhestarangosmyaham iti gamane bhavayan asanasthaha sambit sutranuvidho anirahamiti vasmindriyartha pratitau drashtasmyatmavalokat iti shayana vidhau magna ananda sindhau antarnishto mumukshu sakhalu tanuvratam yonayat evamayu. Actually, I read it long back when I was reading one of the lectures of this Sringeri Acharya. So some episode. So the senior Acharya, you have visited Sringeri. So there is a temple, Vidyaranya temple here, and the other side there will be ashrama. So the story goes like this. So apparently the younger Acharya was coming after offering his venerations to God in the temple. He is approaching the senior Acharya. So then he asked, what is it that you saw when you came? So what can he say? Varche enna paathaena? Fish. That need not necessarily be seen. There can be anything you can separate, you can say this, I saw that. But there should be some idea behind asking this question. So he doesn't reply, so he just kept quiet. No, I will tell, what did you see? Anyway, politely said, no, I will not be able to answer, so many things I saw. So then he poses the next question. So you saw this, you saw that, etc. That's what he said. Is it necessary that we have to see all these things? anything that came to my eyesight I saw, is what you can say. But is it necessary that you have to see? So even when there is a connection between the light rays and the object, see obviously, so in terms of science you can say the light ray comes and keeps hitting my eyeballs. So we don't really see. So when our mind is engaged in something else, we do not see. Right? So we may not even hear when we are here. So when we are here, we need not even hear. So there is some other thing which actually transmits this information or prevents the information from reaching. Right? So it is keeping this in mind. So for a mumukshu, what is to be done? Okay? So if your wife shouts at you, then you need not even listen. This is practice of Vedanta. So this
Then you'll get another shooting.
no, there is a phrase in Hindi. So even if you leave it 10 times, so then will it stop? So it may end up in something else. கேட்டுக்கலாம் தெரியாது எனக்கு ஹிந்தியில் ஒரு phrase இருக்கு. I remember to have read a small story long back. Garasthanan. No, not Grihastha. Hindi. Garastha. Garastha hai. Garastha hai. Garjati. Okay? So Samskrite Garjati. वो हिंदी में गरजता है. So initially there was Garjana. So apparently this fellow did not listen. So then there was a pouring. So जो गरजता है वो बरसता है. So Megha, initially it will make noise. Then it will pour down water. So apparently this is what happened. Okay, so he was teaching. He did not stop. So that is how the story goes. Okay, so this guru was kept on teaching, so she cannot eat. So ye kadam karke aa jao. That fellow did not listen. 1 time, 2 times, 10 times. So then there was a pouring of water. So garasta hai, wo barasta hai. Okay. So this Acharya tells, even as you keep engaging, so it will take time for me to explain this verse, but I am not explaining, so it is for you to think. The overall import of the verse is this. Even as you keep engaging in various activities, so you will be able to easily isolate yourself and still have this Atmanubhava, provided you train yourself appropriately. So these things need not necessarily bother you. Okay, so this is the overall message of this. And the one who is able to practice this, he is a real mumukshu. Okay, mumukshu, moktu michuhu means the one who takes efforts to practice this. So he is real mumukshu. So the point is, unless you put efforts to practice them, this is the step. Practice of Vedanta is this. You should understand this, that it is possible. So then you should try to practice them. So once you practice them, you will be able to reach that highest state of remaining unperturbed and experiencing the happiness of one's own self. So this is the idea. So here, mumukshavaha kridantu. So what does the poet convey here? So for you to first appreciate that it is possible logically, so you study this and understand well on this. Kridantvatra mumukshavaha. So you should just enjoy this, reading this. Tarisādiptamedhāntaihi karmabihi bahujanmasu anushtitaihi vividisha jayate antima janmani. So this is what it is. Vividisha. What is vividisha? is also Sannanta, like Jityasa,
Oh.
like Mumuksha.
Vetum ichanti.
Veditum Ichha.
Veditum ichanti.
So Vividisha. So Vividisha, so he says, Jayate Antima Janmani. So even to engage in this kind of a satsanga, okay, instead of engaging in certain other activities, so it is a Sukrut. Sukrutina means after great punya only this is possible. ततः योगं समभ्यस्य संहितोपासनादिभिः एकाग्रे साधिते अथास्य विद्यां सूत्रयति श्रुतिः. ततः योगं समभ्यस्य. So योगं समभ्यस्य means so abhyasya. So having practiced yoga. So yoga essentially means chittavritti nirodha. Okay. So yoga chittavritti nirodha. This is a sutra, you know. The definition of yoga is not this kind of activity. That is also, that may be helpful. Okay? So this physical activity may be helpful in reaching this. But the definition of yoga is chittavritti nirodha. So putting a certain restraint on the thought process. Okay? So keeping the thought process under your check control. So that is what is chittavritti nirodha. Right. So then, so in any of these Upanishads, so in fact when they started, so it came to my mind. So that is how we start. So when you say, it is essentially a Shanti mantra. So what is this Shanti mantra meant for? He explains, you see. Sutrat purvam Shanti mantraha japaya atra upavarnitaha. Sutrat purvam means before commencing the sutra. So this, what is sutra here? In fact, these vakyas, Brahma Vidapnoti Param, they are declared as sutras. Sutra is a term which is used to refer to something which is conveyed in a very, very, very short form. So no verbose thing. So that is sutra style. So he says, Sutrat purvam Shanti mantraha japatropa varnitaha. What is the purpose of japa? Japena vighnash dveshadyaha shamyanti manasi sthitaha. That is the purpose of japa. Vighnaha. So this vighna, the worst vighna can be only dveshadyaha. Suppose you are not able to go for some class for some reason one day, something happened. That is okay. But if the vighna is here, what can you do? The external vighna can be somehow circumvented. But if it is internal vighna, that is what he refers to dveshadyaha, this bhavanaha. Japena shamyanti. So they are eradicated. And thereby your mind becomes receptive for receiving this knowledge. So that is the whole idea. So when we say Om, etc., it is basically to bring in a certain state of mind. So by which you will be able to receive this vidya. So that is the whole purpose. Japena vighnaha shamyanti. See, even when there is some disagreement, something which happened which you do not like, so this japa basically takes care of that. So when some other thought process comes, so this gets eliminated. So this is the purpose of dveshadyaha, means kama, krodha, dvesha, so all that whatever you can think of. So shamyanti manasi sthitaha. So brahmavid parameti iti sutram sarvartha suchanacha nyayam jnanam phalancheti sarverthaha suchitaiha. So just tell me, so what is the time at which I have to, how many more minutes? So I will plan accordingly. All the time. 40 minutes? 45 minutes? What is it? Okay. So it is 5:37. Okay. So this Brahmavidapnoti Param I started. So and the phala is stated as Vidyaranya brings in here, and he says the description of this Brahman is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So this is what is stated as far as this Upanishad is concerned. So it says Brahma vidapnoti param Tadeshabhyukta Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So the Brahman and Atman are synonymous, and Brahman or Atman is described as something from which the entire universe, tangible or intangible, has come into existence. So we should understand this term as, so there is a certain tangible universe, there is certain intangible universe. So whatever be the entity that you can conceive of, so whether it is I or not I, whatever it is, so it comes into existence from some material. So it is that entity which is described. And when the sutra tries to describe the nature of that entity, it says Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So this Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, how does one understand? In fact, this is nicely stated. Akashadi jagat sarvam andatam ayikatvataha nandatam brahma tenaitat satyamityabhidhiyate. Just to give you a flavor, I just wanted to introduce. The satyam should be understood. Satyam means generally we consider it as truth. Of course, it is in a metaphorical sense that the satyam can be understood as truth in the normal sense. So because this word truth is taken to be something which is non-changing. So lies have to be ever-changing. So truth has to be non-changing by definition. So it is in that sense you can just say. But here what is implied by that is something which is eternal. Okay. So Akashadi Jagat Sarvam Amritam, when he says, so it is temporal in nature. See? So if there are biologists I know. So physicists keep worrying about this question. So whether Akasha is eternal or non-eternal. You know, Akasha eternal, non-eternal. So Akasha and Kala, so they were eternal. They are eternal.
Time and space.
Time and space. So normally we think that everything comes into existence in space and time. So therefore space and time are taken as eternal. But if you really probe deeply, so what is this space and what is this time? So they are also emergent phenomena. So that is the current understanding of physics also. Why I say physics also? Because so here we have been saying, so Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha. So this is how it says. So from this Atman, this Akasha came into existence, which means it is an emergent phenomenon. It is not an eternal entity. So anyway, so the Satyam is, but Akasha can be used to explain certain things because that is something which is generally understood by people as eternal entity. In fact, a lot of examples will be given based on this Akasha to explain something even in Upanishads. So Satyam essentially means something which is eternal. So Jnanam, so Jagat Jadam Svataspurtirahitya Brahmatu Swayam Spurati Jadam Tena Jnanamityabhidhiyate. So I will not get into the details of all this, but three terms have been employed. So it is essentially, but here what he does is, so this is again having a lot of theoretical implications. So he doesn't say it is eternal. So he says that Satyam has been used to indicate to you that it is not eternal. Okay? So it is negative sense. It is not that it is not eternal. Understand? So similarly, so it is to indicate that it is not a jada, he has used the word jnana. And the third thing, so ananta, so it is something ananta, so there itself there is a negative particle, navidyate anta. You understand? So in satya and jnana you didn't have, but here Navidyate antaha. Antaha means limitation. Okay, end. So this can be either due to desha, either due to kala, or due to vastu. So these are parichheda, as they call it. See? So when you are here, you are not elsewhere. Okay? So there is a desha parichheda. See? So there is a kala parichheda. There is a vastu parichheda. So you are different from the other person. So this parichhedas is not there for Atman. Understand? So this Atman, then only will you be able to appreciate as something which is the material, primordial material from which everything has come into existence. So if you say that, so there is a golden biscuit, and from the golden biscuit some pretty ornaments have been made. Now can there be a parichheda? So with respect to this biscuit and the entities? No. Because it is this which has become. So this is how one has to understand. Therefore, this entity, which is basically described technically as upadana karana, has its vyapti. So this pervades into all beings. So this is one thing which we need to understand regarding the nature of Atman. So once you say that this entity is the cause for this manifest universe or unmanifest whatever you have, then obviously, so this entity is eternal entity, be it in whichever form it is. So the forms can keep changing, the names will keep changing, but the entity is something which is always there. So this is the idea which he wants to convey, Deshakala Vastu Parichheda, all that is not there. Now let us see some questions. So of course, since we are in United States, so so this is unalienable right for us. So which is unalienable? Pursuit for happiness. So what is this pursuit and how will we be happy? That is what has to be understood. So pursuit is always there. No doubt pursuit is there. Whether we are able to achieve that or not is the question. Okay. So pursuit for happiness is whatever be the pravritti, it is only for pursuit of happiness. Okay. So what do we mean by this happiness? Are we intrinsically born with it, or it is to be gained by acquiring or becoming something? Can we make ourselves happier? Okay. So who is happy and who is not? What makes one happy? So these are certain questions that we need to quickly cover. So I have just given certain background, but this is what I want to. There are some people who keep saying that happiness comes from pleasure, happiness comes from engagement, happiness.
But Gita says something different.
Huh?
Gita says something different. Bhagavad Gita. Matra spashat kaunteya.
Matra sparshast kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadah agamapayino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. It says stitikshasva. Anyway, thanks for reminding. It doesn't say what happiness is.
But it says where it comes from.
So it says, Matra sparsastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadah. Okay. Shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha. Okay. So whatever be, these are all some things which have been listed. Matra sparshaha. Matra sparishaha. Matra na tablet.
No.
If other thermal, for you to forget that you are unhappy or matra kodunu. See, for you to sleep, you. So matra sparishat. So sukha dukkha, all that can happen. See, some people have this problem. So naturally you can go to sleep and you feel happy. So you have to have some matra. So anyway, இன்னொரு மந்திரம் ஒன்று தெரியுமா? மாத்ரா பலம். See, matra balam means matra is the source of strength for you. Anyway, that is not what matra is. அது எப்படி வந்து தெரியாது எனக்கு. தமிழ்ல மாத்ரா, கன்னடால மாத்திரை. Okay. Miyante adhihi iti mantra. See, there are two ways in which you can derive this word. Manam is basically measure. Okay? It is so praniyante, miyante. There are two ways in which you can either make karma vitpatti, karana vitpatti. So you can do both of them. So it can either refer to object or it can refer to sense organ. Whatever be it, it is essentially the connection of sense organ with an object
Sense objects.
which gives you pleasure or pain, whatever it is, Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukha. So Matra Sparishastu Kunteya, Sitoshna, Sukha, Dukkadaha. So the message that he conveys there is Agama Payinaha. So they are not permanent. So Agama, Apayi. So Agama is something which comes to you, Apayi is something which leaves you. So if there is a season wherein you will find sunshine, so there will be a season where you have snowfall. But Agama Pai, it is a yearly cycle. So there are various other cycles which happen. So Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada, what is the message that he gives? Agama Painaha, therefore,
Anitya.
Tam Stitikshasva. See, this is a very important message. Tan Titikshasva Bharata. Titikshasva is again a very important term which needs to be understood. In fact, there is a word, this Titiksha is one of the Shat Gunas for becoming eligible for studying Vedanta. They say there are 4 sadhanas. Sadhana Chatushtayam. Tadenadu Nityanitya Vastu Viveka, Ihamutrartha Phalabhoga Viragaha, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, and then Mumukshutva. So the Shamadhi Shatka, one of them is Titiksha. Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. What is this Titiksha? Let me just tell you. So practice of Vedanta is essentially practice of Titiksha. Okay, so this is the must. This is nicely defined. I think this is defined, this verse is from Viveka Chudamani. I think so. Titiksha is to be understood. இது வந்து சம்பந்தம் கிடையாது. Titiksha is different. Okay, it looks like mumuksha, bubuksha. Bubuksha na? Bhoktum ichha, bubuksha. So it is not like that. Anyway, this titiksha is defined as sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilapa rahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Once you have titiksha, then I think most of the problems are solved. So what it says is sahanam sarvadukhanam. The problem is solved not only for you, for others. Okay, so this is how you can understand this verse. Sarvadukhanam sahanam. Sahanam means accepting. Okay, sarvadukhanam sahanam. Apratikara purvakam. So today this happened to me and this fellow gave me this trouble, so tomorrow I will take care. So this should not be there. Okay? So that is not there, sometimes it is not possible. You understand? If it is a boss, so he is my boss, so you have to somehow keep in your mind. But keeping in mind is also a problem. அது வந்து சிந்தால போய் முடியும். You understand? So if not chinta, if the chinta goes beyond a limit, it will start vilapa, புலம்ப ஆரம்பிச்சிடும். Okay? So this chinta vilapa rahitam. So is it ever possible? In fact, we should understand. So this is something which has been made possible with a certain understanding, and this is our own experience. I am telling you. It is definitely possible. It only requires a certain understanding. And this has been exhibited by characters and beautifully portrayed in Valmiki Ramayana. So Rama undergoes all kinds of agonies, problems. But at no point of time you will find Rama lamenting. Oh, this all happened because of Kaikeyi. He will never ever say. So there is a certain way by which if you visualize this, you will not be transferring the blame upon others, but you will be able to take it and digest it. So digest it without undergoing this turmoil in your own mind and getting agitated and thereby reflecting this agitation on others. So this is possible. So there are ways which have been nicely and even in those stages, even if others say, Rama will try to dissuade them from saying, he will just say it as this karma theory which has been presented. So he just says, see, so this is all because of my own karma, I think so. So this is just a way by which we will be able to simply transfer and get free. Dukkhena dukkham yadaham vishami. So he says, so after so many janmas of papa perhaps which I have done, tasya phalam idani anubhuyate. So then you don't actually transfer the blame upon others and you don't develop dvesha, you don't develop all these kinds of anger. So kama, krodha, lobha, dvesha, so all of them have to be gotten rid of. Doesn't matter what means you adopt, as long as it helps you should just adopt that means. This is what we need to understand. This is the understanding. So that is something which has been so deeply taught. In fact, this some people will say pleasure, good, all that. So these are all sources of happiness which has been described. And this is something which we need to understand. So there are, see, I was reading at some point of time, there was a book called Desire for 350 pages. There was a book, the book title of the book was Desire. I was tempted to purchase this book and I just went through. So he classifies desire into various hedonic, non-hedonic and instrumental. Anybody has seen that book? Okay, so then I can just safely say. It's an interesting book, and the thesis which has been presented in the introduction itself is that. So essentially it says what has been stated here in one or two verses. So he has presented in some 200 pages. So that is what ultimately, they say, yes, you know, they will develop various stories and then from the story after 50 pages you will get some sentence somewhere. So this is the style of writing which is being adopted. On the other hand, our people are different. So the sutra is our water bird. Anyway, so this, see, there are many of the, after all, any of your action, whether it is to associate or dissociate. Okay? So this is born out of a certain desire. Kamaha in associating, kamaha in dissociating. So there is a certain. And all these kamas, suppose you decide that you will go and stand for 5 hours to get your granddaughter admitted, okay, in some school. So this desire to go and stand in queue for 5 hours is meant for something else. You understand? There is really no desire to stand. But there is a desire to stand. You understand? So unless you have a desire to stand, you will not stand. So this is an instrumental desire for fulfilling some other desire. So if you look at most of these things that we do are all instrumental desires, and there is one desire, and that ultimate desire is to feel good, to feel happy. cannot ask, why do you want to feel good? See, if you drive away mosquito, if you stand somewhere, if you get the BMW car, whatever it is, okay? So there is a certain desire to go for it, and there is some other thing. So what happened if you went in some Maruti and BMW? There was a desire to go. So that the desire, when it is fulfilled, you feel a sense of satisfaction. Okay? So this is what generally happens. So many of them are instrumental desire, and there is something called terminal desire. And terminal desire is to feel good, feel happy, feel satisfied. So all other instrumental desires, so that is essentially this matra sparshaha. You understand? So this is something which we are willing to undertake in order to fulfill that terminal desire. So which is to feel happy. So what makes you feel happy? So if you ask this question, I mean that was one among the various questions. So suppose you want to study in IIT. So getting into IIT means you have to struggle for 3 years. Okay, you have to go to some Kota, Rajasthan. You see, this is what people do. Sometimes people start at 9th standard, sometimes people start at 10th, sometimes 11th. So all kinds of things are happening. So, but ultimately what, I mean, once you come there, after only some package finally done. Okay. So it's not that you are better intelligent than other people, but anyway, so this is what it is. So there are various things which we do. So keeping something in mind. And why do you want to get that package? Oh no, so you can just keep saying, I can get whatever I want for all that. So that I think I will skip this also. Shankaracharya has also written an interesting work. It is a very short work. It will be printed in A4 page. So back print panna, you will get that. But it has some almost more than 100 questions and short answers. It's a very interesting thing, worth reading, analyzing. Short questions and short answers. The text is called Prashnottara Ratnamalika. So in fact he starts with saying Kakhalu Nalankriyate Dishta Sadhana Patiyan Amuya Kanthasthitaya Prashnottara Ratnamalika. Kanthasthitaya by heart. So Kanthastha, Kanthe Tishtati Kanthastha. In fact he uses the word Malika, and therefore he uses the word Kanthastha. So it is a poetic usage. So as Mala is worn in Kantha, so too this Mala should be worn in Kantha. So this Kanthastha means it is by heart. Amuya Kanthasthitaya Kakhalu Nalankriyate. So that is what he starts with. And one of the questions that is asked is Kim Sukham? A question. Kim Sukham and what is happiness? So the answer is Tushti. Tushti means satisfaction. Answer. The secret of happiness is contentment, satisfaction. So if it is not there, then one can never be happy. In what things, etc., so that viveka has to be used. Okay. So anyway, so this is what he says there regarding tushti. So kim sukham tushti. And in fact we have pursuit should never be dropped in certain things, and pursuit should never be pursued in certain things. Okay. So this is where one needs viveka, and one has to have scriptures as our guiding books. So because these have been thought over by people who have been really concerned that society has to be happy, and therefore Krishna even describes the Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karyakarya Vyavasthitau. See, Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartu Niha Arhasi. See, Jnatva Vidhanoktam Iha Kartu Arhasi. So you have to understand, and you have, if you are not in a position to understand, so then you seek people who have thought over it, who has understood it, and that is how the society progresses. So in the Tandondittannu Tamil, Tandondittanam means whatever I think is the best thing. This is a problem. The source of problem for oneself and others. Okay? So that is why strongly says Shastram Pramanante. Is it ever possible that one will be able to fulfill desires and thereby become happy? So this is a question. Normally this is what we feel. So there it is said, see, so najatu kamah kamanam upabhogena shamyati havisha krishnavartameva bhuyeva abhivartati. So this is a practical message, so which Vedanta gives you. So kamanam upabhogena kamaha na shamyati. So shamyati means, so it just gets fulfilled, satiated. So this is not possible. So havisha krishna vartameva. See, krishna vartama is a term used to, you can guess. Krishna is vartama.
Nivartayati.
No. Panthaha, margaha. So Krishna Vartama, so what can be described by that term?
Light.
Fire. So wherever it goes, it will create a dark thing. You understand? So you lit a lamp and keep it close to the wall. It will create, even tube lights they do. So Krishna Vartama means fire. Havisha Krishna Vartameva means, so this thought that I will be able to fulfill all desires and thereby I will become happy is just like saying the fire will extinguish by pouring ghee into it. Now the Mari is just trying to say Bhuyeva Abhivardhati. So this is a message that he wants to give in order to caution people, so that one has to check them. Okay. I think this is the last slide. This Kama's behavior has been beautifully analyzed and presented in this verse. Kamo buddhavudeti, Kamo buddhavudeti prathamamiha manasya uddishatyarthajatam tadgrimhat indriyasyihi tadanadhigamataha krodhaha virdhavechya praptavarthasya samrakshanamadirudidaha lobha etatrayam syat sarvesham patahetuhu tadiham akimatat tyajyamadhyatmayogat. So this is what is this practical lesson from Vedanta. If you just analyze whether Bhagavad Gita or various other things. So in the light of all this, so this is a nice verse which condenses. So what happens? Buddhau udeti, it just gets generated. Tad grinhati indriyasyehi. One can elaborate on that, but I am just giving you summary in just a couple of minutes. Indriya asyehi tad grinhati. He tries to make efforts to fulfill it through various sense organs, etc., all other apparatus. If that doesn't happen, then it ends up in krodha. Okay? And the krodha towards that entity or krodha towards yourself, whatever it is. So there's something happens, krodha, if it is getting fulfilled, then he says, praptau arthasya samrakshanamadirudidaha. Samrakshanamati itself is a big problem. If you become too much of prosperity is there, you don't know how to manage. That's a problem. Read over Pakam. Rakshanam. அது எப்படி ரக்ஷணம் பண்றது தெரியாது, அது ஒரு பெரிய கவலை இருக்கும். That is another kind of chinta I have seen in some people. So the company grows. When it grows, I mean at some stage this fellow feels I am lost. So what to do at it? He goes and retires in some ashrama. Because this itself is a big chinta. Okay, in another house I saw. So this this lady who was worried. So our father-in-law has built in a big empire. So I don't know how will this way my son will manage. So anyway, so that's how the samrakshanamatiruditaha. And sometimes it may either end up in chinta, sometimes it may end up in lobha. So either way it could be a problem. There is a prayer in Hindi. Some Kavi said, Saayina Bhagavan Tirimalya. So he made this prayer. Saayi itna dijiye. Jame kutuma samay. May bhi bhukha na rahu. Saasuna bhukha jai. Over. So what does it mean? Oh Lord, give me only this much, so that I don't remain hungry. Neither somebody who comes to my house goes hungry. Enough. I'm filled. Okay. So that is what essentially sarvesham patahetuhu adhika matimata tyajya madhyatma yogat. And this last verse, essentially this, if you carefully analyze, any individual engages himself, as I was mentioning, primarily towards making oneself happy. And if you spread yourself at least within the family circle, you want the family circle to be happy. If you are able to really spread yourself and understand that everything is this Atma, then you want the entire universe to be happy. So that is how our prayer says, Sarve Sukhinas Santu, Sarve Ramaya. Now this verse says, whether you are happy or not, at least you want to avoid events which are sources of sorrow for you. So this is a very careful analysis which has been done by Shankara, and he says, this is just as a food for thought for you. So I will leave it at this verse. He says there are only two sources of sorrow in this universe. So everyone actually seeks after sukha, but he doesn't really understand and appreciate what is the source of dukkha. So the source of dukkha are two. That's what this verse says. One is ahanta, the other is mamata. Okay. So ahanta and mamata are the sources of dukkha. So this ahanta, as you can very easily see, if you feel that you are so and so, and you are not respected, you are not given promotion, etc., etc., it becomes a big source of problem. Okay. So this is one ahanta. The other is mamata, so that comes to those things which you feel are connected to you. This mama means this is mine. Okay. So this mine essentially arises out of this feeling that I am the Swami of this. Understand? When does this mind come? So one is association, the other is Swamitva. There are various ways in which you can connect to mind. If you are able to drop these two, then you are eternally happy person. And if at all this ahanta is there, so make this ahanta spread everywhere. If at all mamata is there, make the mamata spread everywhere. Then you will care for the entire universe and you will never be a priti patra for anybody. So that is what is the essence of Vedanta. So the essence of Vedanta is essentially to spread this self, Atma Jnanapyati. So Atmavid Shokam Tarati. In fact, there is a very beautiful verse which logically convinces one to understand that the self is nothing but embodiment of happiness. So this is by Sankshepa Shariraka-acharya. He says, Sarvam yadarthamiha vastu yadasti kinchit pararthyam ujjati cha yen nijasattayaiva tad varnayanti hi sukham sukhalakshanagnyaha tad pratyagatmani samam sukhatasya tasmat. In fact, if you see some of this Upanishadic literature, it will describe Atman as Sukha. What is Sukha is beautifully defined here. In fact, the entire book which I read some 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe 7 or 8 years ago, when I read this verse a few months back, I was just astonished that this one verse is conveying more than what the book would convey. Sarvam yadarthamiha vastu yadasti kinchit is a very abstract definition, a beautiful definition given by, maybe 2000 years ago or much more. Sarvam means all these things, all activities, all this. Yadartham means so to meet whatever purpose. Yadartham. Okay. Vastu yadasti kinchit. And the second aspect is, that's what I was trying to tell you. All these instrumental desires are meant for the terminal desire, and the terminal desire is what is mentioned as yadartham. Yadarthamiha vastu yadasti kinchit pararthyam ujjati cha. Pararthyam means for the purpose of fulfilling something else. You understand? So all the instrumental were for that, right? So this is parartha. So that entity doesn't accept anything as parartha. So that is on its own, it just remains. See, pararthyam ujjati cha. Meer baga unnara. So suppose you say baga unnamu. Why are you baga unnaru? So anybody say, right? Nobody will. Saukhyamana, saukhyamana. Yen saukhyamana. So it is because your nature is saukhyam. Understand? Pararthyam ujjati cha yen nijasattayaiva. Nijasattaya pararthyam ujjati means by its existence it doesn't require anything else. Okay? For reaching that state it requires everything else. By its existence it doesn't require anything else. See, pararthyam ujjati cha yen nijasattayaiva. That entity is what is described as Sukha. Okay. Tadvarnayanti sukham sukhalakshanagnyaha. Sukhalakshanagnyaha means those who have thought over this, and that is how they describe that entity as. And tat pratyagatmani samam sukhatasya tasmat. And this is true with respect to the nature of oneself also. And therefore oneself is the embodiment of happiness. So since we have gone beyond time, so I think I'll stop here. Dhanyavadaha. Sarve sukhina santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyachid dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. No. Aham sajjaha.
Question answers if you have any questions.
You spoke about Acharya speaking to Paramacharya about why you should see the light and from the reflected object. Now, how do you stop? You never told about what sadhana we must do to basically stop and prevent us from actually seeing the object.
It is quite evident to all of us that if our mind is engaged in something else, then the process doesn't get completed. So the process doesn't get completed unless in order to sever that final link, essentially your mind has to get engaged in something else. I'll give you a very simple example, which many of you should practice. So at least I have benefited a lot. See, at least when you travel, etc., just have some stotra committed to memory. And that which you have committed to memory, you just keep repeating. So you will never feel the fatigue. So this is what people used to do. And it has other kind of effects also in what you do. Suppose you keep chanting stotra, you keep chanting mudra, you do something. So then the process which you engage in, so is enriched and you really do not feel. So the point I want to convey is, so as long as you can engage your mind in certain other things, most of the things can happen physically. Many of these physical actions, you keep driving, so you recall, and whenever you have to just get something, you go back. So this is a very good activity for your brain also. So that, I mean, this is something which has been recommended by various people. So engaging yourself in a serious way is most important thing, even when you grow old. What do I do after this age? So that is not the thing. In fact, somebody said it is very important for you to keep agile. So by engaging something which you do not know. So that is useless activity. See, I sometimes wonder, see how some people keep on reading book after book and what is being served?
No purpose.
No. Passing away time. Is our purpose. Kalakshepa. Kalasya kshepa. So this is possible. So that is what the verse basically, I will explain to you in greater detail. Okay, because I could not elaborate on the content of that verse, that itself will take up 20 minutes.
What does physics say about the Atman and the creation or the connection between all these things?
See,
He said out of which everything came.
So physics is posing this question that what is the substance from which everything came into existence. In fact, this is a fundamental question. They identify with 4 forces, they went to 1 force, they are all trying to see how you can. So what is the fundamental constituent of matter? This is the question. Of course, matter and energy are interchangeable, etc. The only thing that one can say which is not acceptable to physics is to say that something came out of nothing. So you can give some name, okay? You should say that there has to be some entity, and that entity people have been calling it by different names at different stages. So today we come up with something called a string. Okay? So people have been working on it for 20 years, but there is nothing which has been arrived at so far. So fundamental constituent of matter. So how did it come, etc. So there also, if any of you have been reading various things, you can see that various things are being postulated. So depending on more information that you are able to gather, so you have to propose various things. So something called black hole came recently. So they have to come up with something called black energy. So these are things which are being presented to explain some phenomena which you have analyzed in a particular way. Okay? So the entire science is essentially to explain phenomena, and for that you invent various theoretical tools, and these theoretical tools have been invented by a group of people and it becomes acceptable to a larger group.
Until it is proven otherwise.
Exactly. So the very purpose of science, so somebody says, so it should not be stagnant. So it should ever keep going. So the point is, so this is quite possible to understand. But the problem with science is sometimes people become too arrogant. See, that is a problem. So that I have understood at some stage, so physicists felt that we have discovered whatever has to be discovered. This is almost 100 years ago.
Yes.
See, and they made proclamations. The only thing that I require is some powerful machine which will be able to predict. So, given my equations. But I mean, there was a severe blow. Severe blow that you will not be able to make predictions for a long time. Because the whole thing is non-linear in nature. So, we don't have any mathematical tool. So, short terms, yes, we can do. But long term, absolutely no answer. So, the point is, so if they come up with something called Big Bang, so they may come up with some other model. So, there are different models which have been proposed. But some model is much better than other model which is able to explain more phenomena in a coherent way. So, that is where science stands. And in fact, even with respect to Shastra, if you just understand, so these, they have, the distinction is this. So if you hold to a certain model, you swear by that model and this is what has to be. But when it comes to Shastra, so they say that any model is acceptable. In fact, even Bhagavad Gita, I'll just give you one simple example. I mean, you can understand it in a much simpler way. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitam ichhasi tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadamyam. Doesn't matter which form you choose, it is acceptable to me. So too, as long as you can explain that phenomena, any model is equivalent. Okay? So this is something which has been, so upeya sadhakaha upayaha. All of them fall under the category of upaya. So you have a certain model, I have a certain model, as long as we can explain, so it is fine. So this is how their position is. So these upayas are many, can be many, and one cannot say that yours is wrong, mine is wrong. Okay. In fact, even with respect to the understanding of Atman, if you look at this Gaudapada Karika, which is one of the most oldest texts in Advaita Vedanta, it says, Yeya yeya bhavet pumsam vyutpattif pratyagatmani sasaiva prakriya jneya sadhvi sacha anavasthita. So anavasthita means there is no end to it. So tomorrow you can come up with something else. As like this computer program, so you keep on having various languages, right? So I think you can use any of the language to ultimately do something. So at various stages, as long as it can serve the purpose, something may have some advantage in some way, something else may have advantage in some other way. But models are models. They need not have anything with reality.
Where are the two slokas from?
Which one?
The Adi Shankara's
These last two verses, they are in Satashloki.
Shatasloki.
They are in Satashloki. Sorry, in fact, I was delayed. So in his house, I saw two clocks. They were showing different times. Both of them are wrong. So it was showing some 6:30, but when I came out, it says 6:25, 6:55. So his wife was saying. So then I was really shocked.
Two different models.
So no. They are not. See, the problem is you don't care for that now because you have your own mobile. So my computer did not synchronize with US time. So I didn't watch this. I was watching the clock.
Even time is not constant.
In physics, point of singularity.
Sabhi Namaskara. We are really we should be happy that we had this opportunity to listen to Professor Ramasubramanian today. Actually, we have to learn and listen a lot more. I mean, I had the opportunity of listening to him at Pingala Sutra, at Samskrita Bharati camp and other places. Okay, still, that one advantage of learning Sanskritam is that makes us feel so humble. How much do we learn? There's enormous amount of literature is there, and there's never end to it. So we keep that pursuit, and we should all be happy that we have people like in both ends, Shastras as well as the modern science, expert on both, and so he can connect the dots and make us understand what we miss by not studying Shastras. So that's something I think we will all undertake. As age is not a limitation. Not any age we can start. So I am quite old. So still I just started learning something, but still learning. Okay. So everybody can start. That's how Samskrita Bharati grows, and then pass it on to the youngsters. Anyway, we thank Dr. Ramasubramanian for his wonderful talk. What we learned, and also our host Ubrani Jayaraman for hosting this evening. And thanks a lot. We'll have more occasions to listen to you.